Welcome to our weekly podcast number 119. I keep saying it every week, but this number keeps climbing. Who would have thought 119 of these episodes?
Not us.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we just came up on 3 years? 3 years of us doing this now?
Has it been 3 years?
It has to be, because if it's
Probably
119, 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah, we haven't
and
been
we
every
started
week.
just before TPC, so it's been, we've been
Holy.
doing this for 3 years now. That's crazy.
I'm definitely not 3 years, but 60, something like that? 65? Where did
70.
I
I think you came in at 70.
I can
70.
tell you. Yeah.
start? Of
Tim,
course,
look it up.
of course Tim knows the details. Yeah. I can't believe, you guys, I'm so mad at myself right now. I came in a little bit hot, a little unorganized, didn't have my setup, and I look behind me, and my bomber shirt's not there. Let's give it out for the BPG Bombers at the
Yes.
5-pin league, pro team league this last weekend. Everybody in the comments, can you please give a slow clap or some sort of icon for the BPG Bombers? What a performance, guys. Let's start there. What do you guys think, eh?
Oh,
Yeah, you guys
come
played
back.
great.
Johnny did well.
Yeah, Johnny held us in that first game. He was our confidence builder in the first game because it was fairly ugly.
Yeah, that first match was not the best match that we had, but it was a good grinding match, and Mark was definitely the difference maker for sure.
Yeah.
Shooting 340 in there, nobody could match that, so that was definitely a huge boost for you guys. But I mean, you guys still won 7-1, right?
Yeah, 7-1, 7-1, right?
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, and I think Gal even said it, the Mighty Plex weren't on their game that first game, and we got lucky. I mean, Heidi obviously struggled from a score standpoint, but hit the middle on every frame, and she was in her match. Yeah. So, tough to really pull somebody. You want to give her the effort to work through it, to try, and she obviously got the win, so that was great. And even me and Aaron grinded out our wins. Matt, unfortunate, but good for Al to get his win. But then against the Holy Rollers, obviously a solid match there, a lot better. They had a couple of good charging players too, but then near the end, we even felt it. I listened to the show that you guys afterwards, and you could definitely sense the energy in the building in frame 7, frame 8. I think we all struck in frame 8, and it was just we were all jacked up. Like, it was right in the middle of the open in the pit. We were right there in the pit. The camera setup was amazing. That we had, and the monitor in the back. So I mean, it was a really good day. Happy with it.
Yeah.
Daryl, by any chance, did you happen to check out the individual stats on 5pinuniverse.ca?
No, I don't.
You are the top player right now. You have 3 total points.
The top winning percentage, or just
overall wins? You have the most wins out of everybody, and granted,
you hear
only
that?
a few
You hear
teams
that, everybody
have
out
played
there?
4.
This
Nice.
guy's a bowler. This guy's a bowler too. 3 wins so far.
That's awesome.
Where do you check that out? Because all I see is team standings.
Hey, I'm playing in the 3-hole though.
It
Remember,
says
right?
individual stats right
Let's
there.
take a caveat for that. Playing in the 3-hole, right?
Yeah.
It's not a pressure situation.
Oh yeah.
Not a pressure situation. You still
Yeah.
gotta perform.
I know you do.
perform. Look
Oh,
at
for
that.
sure you do. You still
Daryl
gotta-
Bradley, 3 points, 30 frames played, holding a 255 average. Look at that. Top of the
Wow.
standings.
Nice work.
That's awesome.
Good work on the stats, man. This is awesome. So
those
how
stats
much
are provided by Victor Faubert. So
How much
everybody
more-
thank him.
in detail do those stats go? Do we get as in hit percentages, spare percentage? Because some of those stats might not be very good for me.
Those are coming.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
Hopefully soon.
So for right now, we just have scratch total.
Yeah. Total
Frames,
points,
average,
frames
and total
played.
points.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Who's got the highest average right now?
Victor.
That.
Well,
Yeah.
Robin-
Vic-
No,
Robin-
Nelson Frank. Nelson Frank, 305.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nelson.
five,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I know we got big matches this weekend coming up. Dream Crushers are in the mix.
Yeah, we get a match in. Yeah, it's
We play at Paradise. Yeah, that's a big match for us.
yeah, it's Paradise and Heartland Bowl got the doubles going on. We play a match, and then I'm trying to remember who else plays the other match.
Regina, Infinite
Yeah,
Escapes.
Regina.
Yeah, I think you are right.
Yeah, they get the opener against Heartland. Yeah, no, the Pro League is turning into something. Hopefully we have some fans out there that are watching their favorite teams and doing all that stuff. But
How many watchers did we have watching the game on Sunday?
It was up and down. Like live, it was 50 some, but
Nice.
we are getting 1,000 watches per week on our pro league. So
Yeah.
After the fact, they're watching it after the game. Yeah, so that's something to remember is let's share the heck out of it on that day, right?
Yeah.
Everybody out there, share that day. But then also after it's done, just you can still go and watch it. So it doesn't matter when you share it.
For sure.
Those are the ones.
I
get
think
the
you'll
viewership
see.
up.
I think you'll see numbers go up around 11 o'clock tomorrow, Sunday morning.
Yeah,
I have
somewhere
a
around
huge
that.
feeling that team usually gets a lot of viewers.
What's wrong with your eye, Tim? What's going on there?
I'm just I'm trying to wink.
He's having a stroke. Leave him alone.
Holy man! What is going on?
Right? Can't tell whether he's winking or his cheek is exploding. I don't know.
Tim's trying to allude to the Dream Crushers playing at 11 this Sunday.
Good comment by Jeff here. Awesome. Rylan shoots, what was it, 9-bagger from the gun or 10-bagger?
9.
Nine punch.
Yeah.
Punch,
Great
quarter,
game
quarter,
there. That was
corner
awesome.
Corner pin.
Corner pin,
Yeah.
yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
great shooting there. Yeah. Yeah.
It's no longer spoilers when it's live. Sorry, Ryan. If you don't watch it live, you're going to run into spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the NBA, man. Like, the stats come out the next day. Like,
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Let's promote Winnipeg coming up too. That's 2 weeks away. Now you three are all going to Winnipeg. did
It's
I
a
see?
week away.
Week and a day away.
Well, I guess today's Wednesday. Yeah, when do you fly out? Now you guys are flying out on Friday.
We're
Yeah,
flying
Friday morning.
Dex and Carey are going. Yeah.
Oh, Tim, you're not going. Okay.
No.
Dex Carey, Johnny, Aaron Arndt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony are kind of
Right.
the Alberta guys I know. I think
Tweedy.
Eric Chose is on the Bakers lineup too.
I don't think Eric's going anymore.
think
He's
Mike
on the
Hur-
Bakers.
Mike Herbert's going, I think.
Herbert,
Oh,
Bev
but-
is going.
yeah, Herbert and
Tweedy's
Bev.
going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eisenhower's going out now too. There's
Yeah,
there's
Matthew,
a good Marcus. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the
Petrosky,
idea
yeah.
that they've kept the ongoing list of who's playing each shift, right? I think that's something that promotes, and we've seen that at Timmins too, or some of these events. Post your shifts as much as possible. People can start to see who's playing. A little bit deceiving with the number of re-entries and that stuff, but as you guys know from just running a tournament, you still end up hitting the number close to, anyways.
Yeah, it's looking strong. They've done a phenomenal job there. The format is very interesting.
It's
Yeah.
unique. Yeah. I'm interested how it works out.
Well, hopefully
Yeah.
there's some more people that'll go there last minute, or I don't know if there's last minute flights to go, but certainly from the local support of getting a bunch of those players out, bump the numbers up. So what do you think is a successful number? I mean, is there a number WCBT is looking for, or really it's just an event on its own? Like, is that
Yeah,
what are you looking
the
for, guys?
WCBT is just looking for 100 entries, right? But I think 125 will show that that's a stable number. I think if they can come out with that the very first year, it wouldn't be hard to maintain that.
Yeah.
But
For
if you show up with like 90 entries, you lose a lot of outside interest, right? Because it's like, I only had 90 entries the first year. Maybe the money's not worth it to fly out there and go play it. So if they get over that 100 mark, 125 is that's what all the tournaments were
Yeah.
5-6 years ago,
10
right?
years ago.
So-
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what the Manitoba local support is. I think that's the number that I'm really
sure.
looking at.
Yeah.
If they have really good local support there, I think the rest of it will just follow naturally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind
in
of
a-
looking at their entry list. There's a lot of Winnipeg names that are still missing off those lists. Right? So I'm hoping that those people are just late entering or what.
Yeah.
Not sure what's going on, but
Because those are the numbers that stabilize a tournament for years to go, right? I mean, at least with like TPC and all these tournaments, when the weather turns crappy, you lose a few outside of the city sort of players, but those local support players, those are the ones that will build that tournament year in and year out. So you definitely need those. Right now, it looks like they're sitting at 87 unique entries so far.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So I mean that's good. That means they only need 13 re-entries for them to make that 100 mark
Yeah.
for sure. But they're taking top 48.
yes.
Is that what it is? Top 48. So that
That's half the
might
field.
limit some of the re-entries. You
Right.
know, When really,
Yeah, there's always lots of things going on, but hopefully those that are going to the football game are not the people that can play. That's cool.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Like, I get it. Like Tyson saying the Bombers being the Western Finals, taking a few people out of the tournament as well. Yeah, I could see that, but it's if you don't support locally now, who's saying next year that it isn't the same situation? So you're going to say you're going to bow out every year the Bombers make the Western Final? Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's like that one year at Nationals in BC when Darcy decided to go to the Canucks game rather than playing at Nationals. He took off the last 2 games of the day to go watch the Canucks in the playoffs. And I'm like, this is the biggest event in 5-pin bowling, or one of the biggest events in 5-pin bowling. Yeah. And you're just going to bow out from your team for 2 games so that you can go to a game? That's crazy. It just blows my mind. Yeah. Like, it is what it is. That's right? Yeah, that's a story for another day. That one gets me real riled up.
Okay.
It's just the Bombers, right?
And it's the CFL. They're probably going to make semifinal 1 out of every 3 years, right? Yeah. It's not that tough. Yeah. They'll be fine.
It's cold. It's cold. Why wouldn't we be outside in the cold?
Scotty, if you're listening, I'm not hating on the Bombers. I'm just saying the CFL's not that tough to make the Western Final all the time.
You tell them how you feel when you see them in Winnipeg. You tell them how you feel.
And Scotty's going to hate me. Yeah. All right. Well, we might as well pay some bills here before we get to our special guests. So we have we got Patreon at patreon.com/5pinuniverse. You can become a patron, help us support this podcast week in and week out for as little as $2 a month. We do discount codes on our store, and we are coming out with some Black Friday deals and maybe some Christmas discounts for our merch. So stay tuned to our social media, and we'll be coming out with all those codes for not only our patrons, but all our fans and audience if they want to buy some merch before we clear it out and bring out new merch. I imagine Daryl's coming up with...
No, but you said the words doo-doo at one point there, Carrie, so that's what I was pointing at. I know that's super immature of me, but I catch it every time somebody says it. So I hope I wasn't the only one that just caught that.
No, I had no idea, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, every time somebody says doo-doo, I got it. I got to point that. Yeah.
I appreciate it. And once again, our weekly sponsor, allstarbowlingsales.com. We'll run their quick commercial and we'll bring in our special guest. We'll also do an all-star giveaway. So hashtag all-star giveaway in the comments if you want to enter into it. We can't thank Shelby enough and his company and supporting us week in, week out, and things are looking up for bowling, and he's a proud supporter of it. So
absolutely.
Right. So without further ado, we got our special guest hailing all the way from Nova Scotia in the Valley. Jess Bain.
Well,
welcome
hello,
to the
guys.
Podcast.
How are you guys?
Good.
It's
really late here. It's getting past my bedtime.
Yikes.
Sorry about that.
You've got 2 hours to go with us.
And podcast over.
Right. Yeah, I kind of started us off on the wrong foot there.
That's right.
No worries. So how are things going out in Nova Scotia? We were talking just before that you got your first bit of winter showing up?
Yeah, it's not okay. We're not okay with it. That was my Snapchat story today, that this is not acceptable. It's we got our first bit of snow today. Pretty sure we were still working on our tans about a week and a half ago, and now we've got snow. So we're pretty much going to be cold until about April, and we accept that. But that's it's just life. But no, we're doing good. We're doing good. Trying to keep bowling alive up here, over here, I guess. Over. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are officially on the east. We can say
Yeah,
that. We can say that about Nova Scotia. You're
I'm
in the east.
about an hour and 20 as far as you can go. I'm about an hour and 20 away from as far as you can go. So.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
JB cannot be mad at us.
JB would be
Right.
happy that we nailed this one.
Oh, I love it.
That's awesome.
I also
Yeah.
saw on your feeds today. I was doing some real in-depth research, and
Right.
It was all you're a photographer.
I am. It it hasn't stopped, knock on all the wood. It kind of got shut down with the last couple lockdowns, and then since the last lockdown ended with COVID there, it just hasn't stopped. Like, I think everybody just needs that little bit of happiness and some family pictures and stuff, and yeah, so I do a lot of sports too. Tonight I did a couple hockey teams and do the little players trading cards and all that kind of cute stuff. So
nice.
I do just about everything, and it's been a crazy adventure. I did my first session in my brand new studio today, so that was terrifying. Terrifying. It was terrifying. Yeah, but I got through, and the end result was what I was hoping for. So
I hope you have a
only
drink
get
or
better from
something
here.
besides
Yeah.
you today. Like, do you have a drink or something there? Like, we should be sponsoring.
I know. I've been trying to be good because I wasn't sure how.
No, have at her.
You don't
We're
have
all
to
good
worry
with it.
about it.
We need
Oh,
we need to get our beer sponsor back, guys.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
we'll-
go.
We have something in the works.
This is Tim's wing.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with
What's wrong with your eye, Daryl?
Wow.
That was fair.
Yeah.
Future notes for our audience. Maybe something might be coming out soon. Keep your eyes
Ooh.
out.
Hey, Carrie, easy now.
I sure miss the days that we had big sponsors. So we used to have Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola used to be a big sponsor. Alexander Keith's. We used to have some good sponsors too. But
We had Carling O'Keefe for a long time out here.
Well,
Yep.
And Molson sponsored Newfoundland forever and ever.
yeah. It's hard to. Sorry.
Wasn't there a Hiram Walker at one point, and then there was a
Hiram Walker.
cigarette one too? We could go through the list of.
Hiram
Oh,
Walker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Hiram Walker TV or TSN Pins game?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're correct there.
Wow, you guys are old.
We just know our stuff. We just know our stuff.
We'll go with that for sure.
Yeah. Jess, so let's get started with some fun questions, and let's find out your involvement with. I know it's not going to be a full-on 5-pin bowling podcast, so a little bit confusing over here for us 5-pinners. We're welcoming in somebody from, foreign territory. But let's start us off with some early days of where you started bowling, or a candle pin, and all the fun stuff on that end.
Yeah. So I grew up in a town that bordered another town I grew up kind of in between two towns. One had 5-pin, one had candle pin. So right from the get-go, I could have gone either way. But my dad was a candle pin bowler, and dragging along with him to tournaments, 2 and 3 years old. I started right at the age of 3. He would never let me bowl between my legs, so right from the age of 3, I bowled with one hand, and then it just kind of, as you get a little bit older, 5, 6, 7, the skills started to develop, and I went on a really good run there with. We used to call it AYB for Candlepin, the Atlantic Youth Bowling, because Candlepin, obviously, I don't know if anybody really know it. Candlepin just goes New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, so the Atlantic provinces. So, so I bowled Candlepin. I still bowl. Do I age myself right now? 30. I got a birthday coming up. I think I'm going to be 37. I think I'm going to be 37, but we'll just say that.
We won't ask, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
but I think it sounds really silly. But what candle pin now? 10 pins.
10 pins.
Maximum score, size of the balls, standing upright. What's the lineup? Are they all like a 10 pin, but they're all lined up in those spots? Sorry, I'm being very
Sure.
Yeah.
We number the pins like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that 7 and 10 pins are corner pins, and the 1 pin's the head pin. Just pardon.
So same as 10 pin then.
Same setup. Same setup. Balls are average adult weight is 2.6, 2.7 kind of thing. Kids are around 2.5. Highest score
3.6, right? We're 3.6, 3.8.
Lowest 3.4 up to 3.12. Yeah.
So a full pound and a bit more. Yeah,
and much smaller in diameter. Yeah. So if you think of a softball, not a hard ball, but a softball, we're a little bit bigger than a softball.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Pitch ball.
Is it like 4.5?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
4.5? Is it 4 inches diameter?
Oh, that's a good question. Anybody got Google up?
Fact checking.
And are they?
They're 4.5.
Is there multiple ball manufacturers too? Just
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Epco, Paramount.
Okay. Yeah, so same manufacturers make candlepin balls.
Yeah, exactly. And highest score you could possibly get is 300, but that'll never ever be seen. Never. I can bet my entire life savings, which isn't very much, but that's okay. I could bet I'll bet my next paycheck that there will never ever be a 300 game.
It's never in the history of any sort of
Candlepin is so unpredictable that it'll just never happen.
Do you get high game, or do you get strikes on a regular, or can you throw a double or triple turkeys? You don't throw strikes? How I would be bald, man. I'd be like a Wiseman here.
Oh, wow.
You're getting close.
Yeah, I know. As I'm trying to fix my hair and thinking about which way am I going here. Hang on, I gotta turn around here. Which way did I part my hair? Yeah, off screen.
So when a pin falls down, it stays down and it stays there and it stays playable. So that we call it the deadwood. Candlepin is
no strings.
No string. And I didn't like strings when I was a 5-pin bowler. They always they get all tangled up and We bowled in an alley where, oh no, now maybe I'm wrong. It's been so long since I wonder, did Greenwood have strings? I think Greenwood had strings, yeah. But anyways, but the pins stay down, deadwood, and deadwood's unpredictable. You can hit a deadwood one way and it'll go. The next time you'll hit it and it will just be like, screw you, sorry, not today. So, you'll never see a perfect game in Candlepin. Ever.
Have you never watched any Candlepin, Daryl?
I don't think. No, man.
It's wild.
It's super erratic.
The fact that you use the deadwood stays there and you use it to try to make your spares.
No.
So you can run it straight into it, and
on the pin, Daryl, there's a red band in the middle, and that, Jess, you can correct me, but you try to hit that red band in the middle because it helps deflect, right?
It depends on how the deadwood's angled. If the
can we pull up a video, a highlight video?
Sure. I'll pull one up. So
that red stripe is just show center.
Yeah.
It's not like a band or anything. It's
no.
like our pin tape, Tim.
Yeah, it's just a piece of ribbon kind of thing. It's kind of like that. There's like a red band at the top of a 5-pin, is there not? That really doesn't
places,
do it.
Not Glen Cairn, Danny Bear, but most places.
And a lot of our bowling alleys are so old, and the pins are so old that the red band's just worn off anyway. So Candlepin. It's you're never. You could bowl a better game not hitting the head pin than you could hitting the head pin, which is 100% different than 5-pin. If you don't hit the head pin in 5-pin, you're never gonna be, a high caliber bowler. And here we go.
All right.
Just some video for Daryl for reference.
Yeah, just for me. Hey, anybody else watching out there might want this too. And
I may have watched a bit of Candlepin, so I understand what they're talking about.
Yeah. Do you guys always play Keno while playing Candlepin, or Is that just this?
Oh yeah, big strike by that guy, and you just rip it. Hey, just absolutely.
Oh yeah,
chuck
you
it.
just a lot of the guys throw it as hard as they can, and we call it heave and hope.
Oh my god, I would be bald. That's awesome. I love it though. So
So, he can hit that dead wood on the right, and it's probably going to help him, or he can go right at the pin.
And you can throw it straight down that gutter too, right?
No. See,
Okay.
that's you can't you can't use deadwood in the gutter unless it's half on the pin deck. If half of the pin is on the pin deck, you can use it.
Gotcha.
But you can't use the gutter to strike the deadwood.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to stay on the deck. I gotcha.
And if it is half out of the okay, so if it's mostly in the gutter, do you have to get that pulled out, or do you just have to avoid hitting it?
Only if it's a 9-pin break you can get it pulled out. If there's more pins left standing than
Gotcha.
just one. Yeah, if it's a 9-pin break with a wood in the gutter, you can get the wood removed.
So if it's like kind of impeding your attempt to try to hit it.
Yeah. So if you're going for the 7-pin and you got a pin all the way in the gutter, you can get that pin removed.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but if the pin was half on the pin deck, half in the gutter, you can use it to hit the 7-pin. He's just shaking his head.
I'm amazed at this right now. Blown away at how good these guys shooting down the middle and getting 4 pins. Right?
And that's
You'd be like, "Are
and that's
you-"
why you'll
like,
never see a perfect game. You'll never.
How do you guys keep the ball down since they're so light? Like, I would be scared to throw it through the masking unit.
Carrie, it's because every candle pinner drops their shoulder and puts it into the line.
Every single one of us.
That's true. I guess I bowled with Freddie and Bobby. I know.
There's no,
Absolutely,
there's no lofting the ball out there, is there? There's no reach out
No,
there.
well, some do, and we let it go for a little while, and then we'll call them on it. Yeah.
Oh, you're not allowed to? Or you're not like?
You're not allowed to lob the ball. No, there's a lob line, so you're not allowed to. Yeah.
They throw it
He's
so hard.
He's just
though,
mind blown.
that they sell the candle pin balls in sets of 4 because
Yes.
they get destroyed.
Right.
The
Pretty
ball,
much.
too, because they're
Yep.
chipped against they're small and they're chipped against anything back there, the
Yeah.
pin, everything, right?
Yeah,
So
I've got a couple.
sorry, can we request that at Newfoundland for nationals, for open nationals, that we have an off day or we have a shift or we have an hour or two at a candlepin lane?
There is no candle pin.
You'd
in
have to
your
go to New
phone.
Brunswick or Nova
So
Scotia.
no, we can't do that. So
No,
okay.
no.
No, I can do a layover in Nova Scotia maybe for 3
There
hours.
we go. Just stop in Halifax. Go see Nick Patterson at Bears Road. He'll be- I know he's watching right now.
He
Nick
is
Patterson.
watching. I like
I
it.
know he's.
Nick, we're coming
Hi,
out. Nick, we're coming. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there. See, Nick knows all of those details because he
And
was
I nailed it.
he was a
Yeah,
keener.
Nailed it.
Do we have anger issues at all, or like it's just a game?
Candlepin?
It's all good, man. It's
That's-
good. I'm just saying. Yeah, I like it. I'm teasing.
The ball returns sometimes get a little abused by some of the guys, which isn't the right thing to do. It's not at all the right thing to do because it certainly wasn't the ball return's fault. But yeah, you'll see a guy, come back and yeah, and lots of beer. The boys drink lots of beer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever get mad in candlepin just because you expect it to be. 5-pin, you throw it in the pocket, you kind of expect to get a strike. You get tapped, you get a little angry sometimes because, you expected that to be a strike. But if you never have the expectation to get a strike, why would you get mad?
Yeah. A lot of it is always just user error, as it's user
for
error.
sure.
It's more mad at yourself than anything.
Yeah, I could see you getting upset though, like for deadwood cleanup, right? Because you know what the deadwood should do because you've shot it 1,000 times and it reacts completely different. That could get upsetting.
Yeah. And it's not even like completely different on an alley by alley basis. It's completely different on a minute by minute basis, and it's like it'll go well one time and then it'll go terribly wrong the next. And like last night, I've been working really hard because I've been punching the guts out like hardcore. I've just been punching the guts out, and I took the year off that COVID kind of really messed us all up just because there was no tournaments and stuff, and the photography business was crazy. So I pretty much took the year off And so now this is my first full year back. And I'm throwing a good ball. Like I'm just throwing a really good ball, and I'm punching and I'm punching, I'm punching. So I finally got some good breaks last night. The breaks wouldn't go. I would hit them, and just one little wiggly pin just kind of staring at you, saying, yeah. So it's.
What was crazy was I know Bobby messaged me one day. You got to watch the Worlds, so I'm watching the Worlds, and I watched enough Candlepin highlights on YouTube once in a while to see what it was like, and all of a sudden this pin comes all the way back down the lane from the break. That does happen, and then some guy walks out there middle lane, grabs the pin, and he just hucks it down there when people are bowling beside him, and I'm like, what is going on? And in 5-pin, people would be losing their minds, and just pins are flying, balls are going this way.
Bobby Kite, was he a candle pinner?
Yeah, Bobby and Freddie, they're my boy.
That explains it, Bobby and Freddie. Of course it does. Hi, guys. Yeah. Bobby, Freddie. Of course, you're candle pinners. That
right? Exactly. Oh, I remember Bobby Kite from the Wafu days. Him and the Wafu.
Yeah, let's hear some stories about Bobby Kite. What do you got about him?
Yeah.
We have how many
Bobby
hours?
Had hair.
Back when he had hair.
Yeah.
Bobby is a great guy, and Freddie's just Freddie's just Freddie. I don't even know how to explain Freddie. He's such a great guy on and off the lane. And
tell him to shave that damn mustache, though.
Is he
it's awful.
It is horrible. It's so bad. I don't know how Jess puts up with it. Honestly, I know. I have no idea.
Yeah, she's a trooper. She's a trooper.
She is. Yeah, absolutely. So Daryl, I actually have a set. I have a set of Candlepin pins.
Awesome.
And we have a set of Candlepin balls.
Yeah.
So we've talked about it for a long time. We need to have a day where we set them up and just. We'll film it too.
Absolutely.
This is a TikTok here, Texas.
We have TikTok with it.
Oh yeah, there is a TikTok. Yeah, we put some candle pins in between the 5-pin pins and threw at it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We tried to throw a 5-pin ball down at Candlepins, and it didn't really do a whole lot. So
it just went through.
Yeah, it just went right through. Yeah, it just went right through.
That's what the weight of it is just too big, too heavy, just plowing through.
I actually used the Candlepin ball when I want to do bingo, so I can leave aces and splits and stuff like that.
There you go.
They don't carry, right?
Yeah.
Too light.
Yeah.
We always win.
So our listeners in this area get a reference, and you can let us know, and you can tell us the truth. It's perfectly fine. We know how good Bobby and Freddie were, especially when Freddie was out here playing, and Bobby playing now. He's extremely good. How good are they at Candlepin compared to their 5-pin career?
Bobby in his day, which I'm going to say 8 years ago. I don't think it was 10. 8 years ago. Bobby was just electric. He's just so smooth. He's so smooth, and he's got so much stuff on his ball. And no, Bobby back in his day when we had this big Peter Wells tournament and stuff like that, the whole team was just on fire. So Bobby's definitely was up top 10 at least. Freddie still is top 3 in the province. Some days top 5, but definitely most days top 3 in the province. And there's a couple of them that are right, they're head to head, and Nate LeBlanc, he's always right up there, but no, Freddie's still one of the best. So
yeah,
even on a world's level, not just Nova Scotia, even on a world's level, he's right up there.
Name drop some of those best. Maybe they'll be watching this at some point. Who are those top 5, top handful of
Candlepin bowlers?
Sure.
We're gonna put you on the spot here. Be like, you didn't say me.
Right.
Oh no. You can plead the 5th here. We know you play in the States, so the 5th Amendment is applicable. Yeah.
It's kind of, things have changed a lot, and this is where I start to ramble, because it's just when you've spent the last 34 years doing something you love. There's so much history. The last few years, there's a pack of them that are kind of up head to head. Todd Harrison, he used to be a great bowler. We used to, oh my goodness, Davey Somerton. There used to be a whole bunch of them that Oh my goodness, Jerry Dunn, Nate LeBlanc. It's just we've had some really really good bowlers that have bowled on a weird world's level, and it's
How about
I miss
females?
those. It gives my in my head I'm going off on this other rant because it's been a long couple of years. Like COVID's been pretty heartbreaking for our bowling community. There's some people that still aren't throwing balls again, and it worries me. It really does. It worries me. We've got some really really strong bowlers that I don't know if we'll be able to get back just because things aren't the same as they were, and we're trying to think outside of the box and think of what we can do to keep things going and keep spirits up. But yeah, I just did a really awful job of naming names.
No.
That was pathetic.
Hey,
You diverted very well.
I did great.
Over
Yes.
here instead.
Let's go back to the bio and the agenda, and we'll get on
Thank
schedule
you.
here. Tim made
Thank
mention about old garage story. So we want to hear about this. What is the old garage story?
So when I first started to do both, when I was bowling a little bit of 5-pin and a little bit of candlepin, I'd throw a great candlepin ball and then I'd go 5-pin and I'd start throwing a lazy ball just because they're heavy, like they're freaking heavy compared to the candlepin. So my dad had a candlepin ball drilled, a couple holes in it, and I should have got it out, but it's in the kids' room and they kind of beat. No, they don't beat each other, but they have it in their closet. So they drilled holes in it and filled it with lead. So it ended up being close to 5 pounds as a candlepin ball. And so he would set up a old tire and a mattress and put it against the garage door, and I would just stand 15 feet back and just toss it into the tire. And Nick Patterson would go out there with me. It'd be freezing cold. We'd be out there in the middle of the winter. And it helps. Like it helps to, if you're starting to struggle a little bit and you're not getting the ball out, and because there's getting it out and there's lobbing. Like there's two totally different things. Lobbing is just heaving it out there, but you need to get it out. You need to get some momentum on it, and throwing that lead ball really helped. So it's pretty. It was one of those like things that I'd take it into a bowling alley and they put it on the scale. Nobody would believe that it would be that heavy, and they'd always want to throw it down the lane, but alley owner wouldn't let us do it. So
yeah, destroy the pins.
Yeah,
right.
It's like one of those practice, like the weighted ball. It's like your warm up or your workout, like the weighted bats, right? In baseball, they work out and they practice with weighted. It's a good idea.
Yeah, no, it was, and oh my God, countless times. I think I probably would throw 500 a week, like back when I was really, heavy and. I mean, I'm still competitive, but just when that's your life, when there's no kids, it's just literally bowling. That was, I used to go out there and just beat the heck out of the garage door. It would just be, I don't know how the neighbors didn't call it. It would just be bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
that was bowling. Literally has been life, and it's been a weird transition for me because there's a lot of other stuff going on right now, and I know the bowling community still really needs me right now to keep, because I'm pretty much the one that organizes tournaments, recruits teams, advertises, books hotels, and it's just it's been a weird time. Bowling's, I think, and I kind of see it in 5-pin too. Bowling's just in a bit of a weird phase right now, and but we'll get through. We'll get through.
Good. When did you start bowling 5-pin?
The Youth Challenge. You remember that tournament? Do they still have that tournament?
Yep.
Yeah. So you had to be 13 to bowl that tournament, I do believe. That was we got kind of recruited. They needed another team to fill the provincial qualifier, and a bunch of us candlepinners just went in and never bowled 5-pin before in our lives. And it was, so we ended up qualifying, and we went on a good run of, not at the national level, we kind of struggled at the national level, but not really, like maybe 4th, 5th kind of thing, really not struggling, but but the Candlepreneurs, to get to the national level, we excelled in the provincial level, and oh my god, I remember that one year. I think it was in Gatineau. We had these god awful, ugly gray vests that everybody had to wear. It was awful, and I don't know who. And then the next year was like this yellow fleece bomber. It was awful.
I always remember the Nova Scotia YBC hats with the yellow hats or whatever.
The Southwesters.
Yes.
Southwestern.
And I'm sure I always kept on thinking those people love to wear those things. I bet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's our coaches made us wear it. No, we're pretty proud. We come from a fishing province. It's not even a fishing community. We come from a fishing province, and that's just who we are. But no,
they make us in Alberta wear cowboy hats. So
yeah, we love
we're all
it.
cowboys.
We get it.
Yeah.
We are for that week.
I traded my Southwester for a cowboy hat one year, so yeah.
I would have gladly have made that trade.
Yeah,
Right.
fairly hot commodity. I think when we go to order next time, we need to just double the order.
Yeah. No, it was. So that's where Five Pin started for us, and there was like Nate LeBlanc and I. We went on a good run. Like he's electric. Like he's pretty much the top bowler in Nova Scotia, and it was so funny. Like he was a little bit thin back then, but just these big broad shoulders, and he just would go up and just fire that ball, and you would see just the people from BC and Quebec. They're like, whoa, who's that? But then he could talk Acadian, which I don't know if you guys know what Acadian is. It's pretty much half French, half English. And so the Quebec guys would start having a conversation with him, and then Nate would start talking Acadian, and they would just all walk away because they wouldn't have a clue what he's saying. But no, we had a good run with the youth challenge, and then the next year after that first youth challenge, I ended up starting to bowl YBC too. So I would go to the YBC Nationals and do the youth challenge, and do Candlepin. So, but that last. Yeah. What?
Nick has a good comment there. Bill Douglas, and funny story, Bill Douglas, who used to do the commentating, was into the Sure Bowl there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
For a couple months ago, Tim, right? Having chat. So.
He's actually our next podcast guest.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Nice.
Cue him up, Bill Douglas. Do you remember?
Do you remember Nate LeBlanc?
Start speaking Acadian. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, oh my God, it was funny. And absolutely nothing against the Quebec guys, but they would, in the middle of a crowd, just start talking nothing but French, and for good reason. I mean, that's what they talk. But it was, and then Nate would just be there, and he would understand what they were saying, and it was just kind of a funny dynamic. Like it was yeah. And then we always had the earliest flight home because we were the farthest away. No matter where we went, we were the farthest away, and flight would be leaving at like 6 a.m. and we'd still be up at 5:30, fart bombs and shaving cream towels and the hotels. Oh, I don't know how we didn't get kicked out. And that was before we were old enough to drink. Like that was just teenagers. But yeah, no.
Go ahead.
Sorry, my like mid-teens to the last year there that I won nationals. My last year as a senior girl, like it was a fun run. Bowling both and qualifying for the youth challenge and then the YBC, and it was just that's the only way I ever saw the country. Like it's like, oh yeah, I've been to BC, but to a bowling alley, and oh yeah, I've been to Regina, but to a bowling alley, and you'd see
the best place to see in Regina, honestly.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of us describe Canada.
BC, no, you need to explore BC. Regina bowling alleys, good spot to go.
Yeah. No, we had some good times.
Yeah.
But that's cool, winning YBC Nationals.
Yeah,
right? That's a really cool achievement too. Knowing what you're getting into. First win for Nova Scotia since 1984.
Yeah.
That's for sure something to hang on the mantle.
It's pretty cool, and Charlie Costin was my coach all the way through, and he used to coach on the national level, like for Nova Scotia. But yeah, he couldn't make it that year. He wasn't well, and so he was watching from home. And I guess he just great big crocodile tears when I ended up winning. So I ended up having the bye the last round, but I had a half a point lead before the bye. So it was just it was mine before the bye. Actually, no, I must have had one and a half point lead before the last bye, and then so I knew I had it. But like the things that you remember, like life gets in the way in my memory. My bowling shoes broke apart middle of nationals the year that I won, and they were held together with duct tape. Literally held together with duct tape. My bowling shoes, and one of the fathers that I had known for a few of the years, I think he was a Northern Ontario father. He ended up buying me a pair of bowling shoes from the alley that I wore for the rest of the tournament, and he wouldn't let us pay him back. It was just one of those crazy times, you know. And,
yeah, that's cool. That's a neat bowling story. Somebody from a totally different province stepped up. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I remember we had extra duct tape in my bowling bag, and when it would start to crack open, we'd just add more duct tape.
It's funny we talk about that. I'm gluing my shoe together.
Right.
But to say, you know, you won nationals with duct tape shoes, and
you actually had the bye for the last two games. That's back when they had. Where you did back-to-back matches with everybody, right?
Right. Yes,
so
you're right.
For the last two matches, so you were up. Yeah, you're up 2.5 going into the last two games, and
no, you're right. It's and actually that was the only year that my mom was able to make it. Like all the other years we just went without parents, and that was it was just awesome. And Nick was there, like Nick Patterson was. It was just it's all such a blur, but it's there. It's you know, something that you'll never. I just remember standing up on that podium and the lights and the camera. It was just it was a pretty cool moment.
Absolutely.
So do you happen to know, like, because you said 5-pin's obviously not your main bowling sport and stuff like that, what is the high game you've thrown in 5-pin?
I think I had a 438.
Wow.
450 is the highest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had a 438 in Shearwater one year.
11 in a row 3-pin?
Yes. Yes.
That old 3-pin.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit nervous.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
It was, I want to say, oh my gosh. Yeah. It was either maybe it was 428. Maybe.
We won't go and check up on this.
No.
Tim might, but we won't.
Nick
Tim might know, actually.
Nick Patterson's going to own me on this one. But
that's awesome. To throw 400 in something that you're not weren't solely playing, right? That's quite the accomplishment.
No, absolutely. It's lots of hot mid 300s, you know. And once you get going, like 5-pin, once you get that groove and you just, it's such, I do miss that because there's nothing like that boom feeling, that walking back after you throw a strike, and it's like, I don't have to aim at anything else. I don't have to aim at the 7, well, it's not the 7-pin, the 3-pin. Yeah, my God, It's been a long time. It's literally been 20 years. Like it has, it's been 20 years. So it's, but I remember it was probably about 6 years ago. I hadn't thrown a 5-pin ball since my last ball in Regina at Nationals when I won that year. So I just picked up a 5-pin ball and I just went and I started throwing again, and it was just like nothing ever changed.
That's great to hear.
And you averaged 244 at Nationals. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, no, that was a good tournament. And I think there was a couple games I struggled too. So if you can take out your tops game, take out your lowest game, you know, it might have been closer to 250.
Yeah.
So Carrie
Yeah.
asked your high score in candlepin, or in 5-pin. What was your high score in candlepin then? And
I had
what typically is like a high score or a high average and all those kinds of
120s. If you can go home at the end of the day averaging 120, nobody will be upset. There's not a soul that's gonna. It's kind of like a 240. It's it's kind of
Okay.
Right.
yeah. If that's a good analogy
Yeah.
there.
Daryl's like, I don't want to play.
Right.
120.
You see the excitement. Well, it's coming from a 5-pinner who would be like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a night that was 199 and 457 triple, and like I told Tim, like it was provincial record for sure, and it just unfortunately won't go down in the record books, but that's okay. I know I did it. I got the paper to prove it. So
How come it's not in the record books? What's the
we're not ICBA sanctioned.
okay.
Yeah.
That old association thing gets
Yeah.
in the way.
There's
Yeah.
sanctioning, and then is this a perfect game? Is this a high
Yeah.
record? Is this, gosh,
Yeah.
We have a
Did
few
you
of
have
those stories.
shields?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Did you have a loft line?
Do the foul lights work?
199. So you've never broken a 200.
No, and
we
Nate LeBlanc,
wish you the best to throw a 200 at some point. in
yeah,
your career.
Nate LeBlanc hasn't broken 200 either. If he's watching, he's had about 5 199s. Yeah, it's a sore topic for him.
That sounds like our Brad Wilton. Did
That was
Brad
Brad
Wilton?
Wilton, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had a 400 for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's if you can end your career having a 200 game or even a 199, it's you're doing well, and I agree right now just with life, like my tournament average is probably only around 115, which it's not at all where I want to be. It's back when I was throwing a good ball, and it was right around 120, 122, 125. And some like Freddie can easily go to a tournament and average 130. So it's for the men anywhere between 130 and 120. For the women anywhere between 120 and 115. You're laughing.
Now, what's the have guys experimented with a roll on it, a backup on it, duck pin throw on it? I'm sure they have, and obviously that's why we've now gotten to throw with such heat. But what happens? I'd have to probably see that in action to see different type of shots, but it doesn't work that way, obviously. Or how do different people throw it?
I want to say Freddie still bowls with a little bit of a backup. I want to say he does. I think Freddie is probably one of the only ones in Candlepin that has a bit of a backup on him. A lot of them, it's just Candlepinners are a lot of heavers, But then there's good heavers and bad heavers. Like Nate, he's a chucker. Like, my God, he's just the power that he has on that ball, but he knows exactly where it's going. And then you've got heavers that just literally heave and hope, and they just overpower the pins.
Right.
But Nate knows exactly where that powerful ball is going 9 times out of 10, and yeah. So, but then you're in Lignite and you watch the little old ladies throw their ball down, and they get a 9-pin break with the best wood ever, and it's like, why? Like,
I think they're forgetting the wood part, because
you
want to clear your wood. If you're too slow, you might knock them down. You're not knocking them all down, but then you're going to leave wood on the table, right?
But leaving wood isn't a bad thing either.
No. Like, I'd rather have.
I'm excited, Dexter. Set these up.
I'd rather punch the head pin and have some wood to play with than punch the head pin and not have wood to play with. Yeah, we're a complicated bunch. We really are.
You're a bowler, so I mean, bowlers complain. That's the number one trait, right? So
no,
I do want to clarify one thing for you, Daryl. It's counts the same as 10-pin, but they get 3 balls, right? You guys
for sure 3 balls. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same count as duck pin then, because duck pin gets a 3rd ball as well.
Yeah.
So by getting a 120, are you getting one strike a game? Are you getting two strikes a game?
if you don't throw a mark and you knock all the pins down, you get a 10. So
Yeah,
if you get
sure.
10 tens, you get 100. So a 120 is
Like
10
marks.
tens plus a couple marks, right?
Yeah.
So
You're
it's
throwing a lot of balls in a game. I mean, that's
You're
you're
throwing-
throwing 20,
Hard
20,
balls. Hard
Yeah,
balls.
right.
25, 27 balls a game.
They're only 2 pounds.
30,
Who cares?
30 sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you're throwing 30 balls in a game, right? Whereas I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's one of the things. Do you guys look at that? If they're throwing 15 balls a game or 14 balls a game,
No.
and what that is a statistic? I mean, that was a conversation I had with a coach one time. If you calculate number of balls in a game.
I remember playing rep team one time, or U Challenge qualifying or something, and Matt Cole was playing. And Matt's a big dude, big strong dude, and he finished the game and he was just drenched in sweat. He's like, "It's warm in here." I'm like, "Dude, you shot 140. You actually shot every possible ball. You shot 30 balls. You're just worn out. You're tired."
Yeah.
Oh shit! I guess
Yeah, it's a lot of work up there throwing all 3 balls.
Exactly.
A statistic, Carrie, in your world of WCBT stats is how many balls were thrown each game, right? Or Victor, if you're out there,
Yeah.
right? Tyson's an
JB.
stats
JB,
guy. How many
yeah.
balls do you throw in a 5-pin or a candlepin game would give you the most chances of a good game? You know what I mean?
Huh. That's
Right.
crazy. I have a question. So, when you're scorekeeping and stuff like that, like obviously there's still strikes and spares, but are your open frames called something different, or are your halves called something different, or is it all the same lingo compared to 5-pin bowling?
Open frames are pretty much just open boxes.
Oh, boxes, right?
Yeah.
So everything's a box instead of a frame, or
Yes.
is that
Yeah. But then I saw the Candlepin guys having this talk the other day on their podcast. If I have an open box, I haven't had a mark. But if I want to leave it open, I want to mark. So if I say, leave yourself open, that means, go up and get a mark, leave yourself open to throw on it.
more? Yeah.
But if I've had an open, I was listening to I was editing the other morning and I was listening to their podcast. I'm like, that's true. Like some of the things that you say.
So is a game a line, or is it just a game?
A string.
A string.
String, yeah.
Right.
And so
I used to harass those two, Bobby and Freddie, all the time for this.
I don't get it. Why is it a string? There's no strings in Candlepin. Like I don't.
It's a string of frames. It's a string of boxes. Sorry. I'm like,
String of boxes
Oh.
that make up a.
Mind blown.
more times than enough at the national level, we would screw ourselves over because in Candlepin, if you have extra on your team and you want to come out in the middle of a game, we can come out after the 6th box. But with you guys, it's 5th box, right?
No, there's no rule.
Anytime after a ball, you can be pulled.
We watched a guy get pulled at nationals after 2 balls.
Has it always been like that, or is that just?
Yeah.
For adult play, anyways. It has. I'm not sure about youth.
So youth challenge. I want to say it was the 5th frame.
Well, okay. Well, it's changed now, but it could have been that way back then. For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I just know that, cause we had Joanne Blades coaching us and Ed Noftel and all those guys, and we would be like, 6th frame, I'm out. Like I'm throwing a shitty ball, and they're like, no, you're stuck. Like you're not allowed to come out because it's past the 5th frame. But anyways, yeah, right.
They were just screwing with you.
Us. Yeah. We were totally they wanted to mess with our heads.
That's funny. I don't think 5-pinners could take it seriously because we'd be just out there being like, "You want to fill your box?" That's seriously.
Whoa. After dark.
After dark.
How did it take 1 hour to come to that?
We knew it was coming, but wait, we all knew it was coming. It was
you guys have been holding back on me.
It was that was lobbed up in the air. We just didn't know which twin was going to take it. That's all. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm sensing a bit of a competition, perhaps throwdown against Candlepin podcast versus Five Pin
Oh,
You podcast. I mean,
Oh,
Dex,
I will have to.
you've got the pins. We could always set it up at Sherwood Bowl and do a live stream or something, and they could go to a
Yep.
5-pin center and go do a live stream. I think there's something in the works here, guys. Hey,
Yeah, it's easy.
I'll
And
have to tell the Ripping the Rack podcast boys. I'll have to tell them.
Yeah,
They'll be
just-
excited that I even said their name. So
Yeah, even
Taro and yeah.
if Freddie's there, I mean, it's an easy one for us too. Tell him my
Yes.
$5 is easy.
There you
To
go.
yes, there you go. We got something
get some-
building here. Yeah.
Get some
I'm
chew.
sure-
Oh my god!
I'm sure you've
chew?
heard. Freddie threw a perfect game against Tim, so don't let Tim talk too much smack about
Yeah.
Freddie. So
Yeah, I will say I called Freddie about something. He FaceTimed me, and he's walking around his new house, and he's talking to me, and he's like, and he stopped and took 2 steps back, and all of a sudden he was holding his perfect game trophy. He's like, "Oh, sorry, but I got nostalgia here," and he put it back, and I'm like, "You're such a dink."
Oh,
Yeah.
we took Freddie and his brother to the Mixed Worlds. I keep it must be 2 years ago now because of COVID. But the last Mixed Worlds we could get across the border. We took them down. It was in Bangor, and Bangor, Maine. It's you guys. Yeah.
thank you for the clarification.
Right, there you go. Like, wait a minute, did I even know?
Bangladesh. Where'd you guys go? Yeah.
Yeah. So we took him and his brother down, and we got a cottage on the lake. And literally, they could have just stayed there and just gone fishing all weekend long.
Let's talk more about this world. You've mentioned it a couple times. What is the world's all about? Like, is there a world competition where you can travel to like Australia or Europe or what's the reach? Oh.
You can go to
Because you almost had me there, Jess. You almost had me. I was almost building a candlepin center here. It was happening. We're gonna go into construction. Yeah.
No, I'll clarify this. So the Candlepin Worlds is Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Maine, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, and so that's as far there. There's a couple other Candlepin alleys in other states, but they don't compete at this kind of level. So pretty much those states, those 2 provinces, and what they'll do is it's like a Canada-US thing. So they'll be, for the men's worlds, it's a week-long event. Starts on Monday. Actually, starts Sunday night with a big poker tournament. The bowling starts on Monday with the singles competition, and then it's just anybody that wants to go in. I think it's like $100 for the singles competition, and they end up winning $5,000 or something like that. So, and then the team competition, and they do 24 teams, 2 divisions. You bowl each team 3 times, so 2 points a game, 2 points for pinfall, and for the 3 games. And then Friday afternoon, they kind of cross over and do a playoffs Friday and Saturday. So it's intense.
A full week long fun.
It's a marathon. Yeah, it's literally a marathon. So you're bowling in your division. You're bowling 11 teams 3 times, and then plus if you make playoffs. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome, and traditionally it's been 12 American teams, 12 Canadian teams. I predict we're going to get to the point that we won't have 12 Canadian teams. It's just the trend that we're going in.
Like, is it an open invitation to submit your team, or is it you have to qualify through your houses and your centers, and you kind of work your way up?
Yeah, there's no qualifying. It's a very historic tournament that if you have a spot, it's your spot, and then if you give up a spot, then somebody else has that spot. So like some teams have had a spot in this tournament since the beginning, and it's been passed down hands. If some of the older guys aren't bowling anymore, they'll pass the proprietorship off to another teammate, and so it's and then the ladies have a bit of we call it the internationals. So the same week that the men's worlds is going on, we always have a ladies tournament with the US and Canada at the same time. So, but it's not a week long, it's just a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But,
Is it at the same center or is it in a
no,
different center?
no. The ladies one has always been in Halifax every year, and it's kind of their tournament. So at the Super Bowl in Lower Sackville, so we have men's worlds, ladies worlds. They always happen in November, if COVID will ever leave us alone. And then in
going
June,
across border, you can't really.
No, we've been the last 2 years. They've done a men's U.S. Open kind of thing, and they've run it the same way, the week long format. It's just not the same. Like good on them. Like I love them all, and we're all such good friends. And it's good to see that they're still able to have it, but it's just not the same.
Do you guys rotate back and forth between Canada and the U.S., like where it's hosting?
I actually don't know if it goes year by year, different countries, but it rotates alleys for sure. There's not enough Canadian bowling alleys big enough to host it. So we kind of just wait for our turn kind of thing. So there's a couple houses in New Brunswick that can host it, and nothing in Nova Scotia. There's no houses in. There's one, but I think it's a spectator issue. There's not enough room for spectators. There's enough alleys, but there's not enough room for spectators.
How many alleys does the biggest Candlepin Center in New Brunswick have?
I think Fairlanes in Moncton has 30. I do believe. Yeah, okay. Don't quote me, but they're more than 24. Yeah, and they're probably the biggest alley in Canada. So the Worlds, it's if you can end your career saying that you won the Worlds at least once, I know people that have put it on their resume. It's just
for sure.
And drum roll, please.
So if we can we enter a team into the Worlds? Is there any prerequisite for it?
Well, we have to be accepted in first.
If there was a spot open. If there was a spot open, you could, yes. There's no prerequisites. You don't have to have a league average. Yes, if there was a spot open, then you could. Absolutely.
Which weekend in November?
I can see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Which weekend in November is it normally?
Yeah, and that's probably the first tournament that we're going to go into. Hey, Tim, we're going to throw it to the world.
Straight up, yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
We could call them lobs all week long.
We would be chucking it.
Well, I would have to get my arm swing, like that thing you guys do with your arms.
Right?
We'd have to work on that.
And you have to
Carrie would be changing on every ball. I could see the technical adjustments that Carrie would be making on every ball.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You'll have to get a little faster too. Your approaches will have to get a little faster because the boys will get pretty upset with you.
So how long?
Tim will.
Lane courtesy.
Yeah. How long does the game last? Sorry, how long?
About an hour.
An hour, okay, same as ours. So
for 5 bowlers, about an hour. Yeah.
So Tim can't make team because he takes too long on the approach. What is lane courtesy like? Is it lane by lane, or can you be on the same approach as the person next to you? Like, what's that situation like?
So that's actually a funny thing because I was thinking about that while I was watching your guys' intro. I was just writing a couple of things down, and I think a bunch of us candlepinners brought lane courtesy back to Candlepin after bowling 5-pin. I really do, because when I was younger, I don't remember there being I remember it was always let the bowler on your right go first, and that was pretty much, that's where it ended. Now it's let the bowler on your right 3 lanes over go first, and then you can go, and then but it really didn't used to be a big thing. It was something that the coaches would always, kind of try to instill on us, but we really brought it back when we started bowling 5-pin. And I still, like, if I see somebody running down the lane to get a pin that's come out of play 4 lanes over, I'll wait. Like, I just...
You talk about, so you have to be fast on the approach in and out. So what the hell happened to Bobby?
Bobby's... In our world, Bobby, Justin Corkum, Cody Bork, it's like watching paint dry. No offense, boys.
he's gotten slower even in 5-pin to the point
Yeah.
where he's one of the slowest 5-pinners there is, and
and they
it's
call
crazy.
I'm pretty slow too. I'll give them I'm pretty slow too. As I've started to suck more and more the last couple of years, I've kind of picked up my pace a little. It's like, what's an extra 10 seconds going to do for me?
I do have a disclaimer. Bobby did text me and say he is going to listen to this tomorrow on his route. So all the power to us.
Right.
That's no problem there for sure.
You think Bobby, and then add about 15 extra seconds for Justin Corkum. And, he's powerful. My God, if it takes that long to throw as good of a ball as he throws, good on him. You know, it's. But no, 5-pin, and that's where Nate really stood out. Nate LeBlanc at a national level with 5-pin, because he would just literally get up there, do one arm pump, and he was gone. Like, it was just, and the ball just felt like it was 100 miles an hour.
Where did the arm pump come from? Like, was there an older bowler in Candlepin that started that, and then everybody just kind of copied their style, or is that part of your guys'
don't do arm pumps?
Hell no.
No.
That's a Candlepin thing.
Yeah, we definitely make
that
fun
arm
of them.
Like, where they
Have you
swing
never
their
seen
arms.
Bobby where he goes,
Oh yeah,
It's like,
the old.
yeah.
like
Oh,
like a
wow.
pendulum. You got to get yourself
Yeah, yeah,
going.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, no, there's 5-pin doesn't do that.
Yeah. I don't
My
know
arm would
any.
get tired. My arm would
I
get
don't know any
Neither would I.
candlepinners that don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I know any candlepinners that
It's
don't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You should-
Some just do one. Someone like Nate, he'll just do one. And but some will do like. Poor Justin. I hope
Freddie's
Justin's not
three.
going to watch. Justin Corkum, I think he does about 17.
Oh, no.
Just the winding them up,
Right?
winding them up.
just get the blood flowing. That's all it's there
Right?
for, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think I know any candlepinners that don't do the arm pump.
Definitely,
Yeah, I wonder
candlepinners
where
are
it
in
came
better shape than, hey? Better,
Yeah, probably.
No, we balance it out with the beer.
The right arm is built from throwing the bowling ball. The left arm is built from
Yeah.
holding the beer. I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's just neat seeing that quirk in the
Yeah.
different styles,
Yeah.
right? You see,
Yeah.
you can pick out a candle pinner, and I'm sure you guys can pick out a 5-pinner.
Yeah.
But like when Bobby and Freddie come out, it was like instantly like, oh, the arm pump, the candle
Yeah.
pinner, you got it.
Yeah, it's funny because I was at a tournament down in Littlebrook, in Acadian world. It's where Nate and them live. I was there a couple weekends ago, and Tyler Thibodeau. I think he bowled. Yeah,
He played the
I think he
Open,
bowled at the national level a little bit. So literally Tyler, and maybe one more, Addington. I think
Nicole?
No, it was a guy. Michaela Addington's brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, when he competed, he would have been YBC, kind of younger. But two of them are 5-pin, and you can just it's just so precise. So, just they know exactly what they're doing, step by step by step, and just that smooth follow through all the way through, and then we just wing it. We just wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheer power versus precision, or whatever the difference is, right?
Yeah, and
That's cool.
that's what I miss. And I keep getting asked to. I guess they've got a 5-pin once a month kind of pro league kind of thing going on in Greenwood. And I keep getting asked, and I need to find the time, because that was when I was at my best, was when I was bowling a little bit of 5-pin, a little bit of candlepin. And 5-pin really just zones you in. It really zones you in on finding that head pin and your form and your delivery and your release, and then when you're bowling candlepin, it's so easy to just wing it. Like we just wing it a lot of times, and if you're really good at winging it, you average 120. So.
Gerald's like 120.
Just be happy. Yeah.
Be happy with the 120. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
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 We did the little drum roll for you, and I don't want to skip over it because this
Yeah.
sounded like a pretty awesome moment when you're talking about the Worlds, and you said if you could win first place and have it on your resume.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you did that. So let's hear about that that time. Tell us more.
Yeah. So there's the men's worlds. There's the ladies. We don't call it worlds. We call it internationals. And then there's the mixed worlds, and that happens in June every year. And when we first started out with it, the first 5 years or so, it was just 10 grand American. Unfortunately, our dollar was pretty par back then, so it was. I think we made 10 grand and we came home with 11 or something like that. But that was when. Now they just do single round robin, and the year that we won, they had implemented a bit of a playoffs, and we kind of just. We scraped into playoffs, and I think they took the top 6, and we made 6th or whatever, and then we had to run playoffs, and it was electric. There was only 5 of us, so we had bowled all weekend long, and just the whole team just kind of really pulled through, just a bunch of Nova Scotians, and
Fun,
it was a really, really good feeling. That was the high between that and then winning the YBC. Those are my top 2, no doubt.
And are you still going back to Worlds? I mean, when it opens again, you're allowed to. Like, you're going to be going, and that's pretty.
Oh yeah, we've got a big thread going on right now about it. They nailed down the dates, and they're just looking for bids from the alleys to see which alley we're going to be at. It's looking like. Either down in Massachusetts or down in New Hampshire, and so it's kind of cool now because when we first started going, there was literally only 1, maybe 2 Canadian teams that would go down, and we would just go down with the Americans. And now, as the years kind of progress, there's more and more Canadian teams that are going down. And
how many players on a team?
5 in the lineup, and you can take 7 or 8. We always take at least 1 extra girl, 1 extra guy, and
is there
that way if you're struggling,
you have to have a female in the lineup, and is there a number of subs that you can pull out each game?
You have to have 2 females in the lineup, 3 males, 3 and 2, and if you come out, you can't go back in, obviously, and it has to be by the end of the 6th frame that you have to come out, and you can't come out if you're open on a mark in the 6th. So if you're struggling and you're like, oh, I want to come out, and then you crank a strike off by accident, you're stuck. You're stuck for the rest of the game.
So you have to stay in the game if you're already in there past the 6th. So a sub has to be made before the 6th frame.
Before the 6th frame, yeah, it can be made in the 2nd frame. It can be made in the 3rd frame, but it has to be made before the end. By the end of the 6th frame, as long as you're not on a mark. So you can't go up the 7th frame.
Right.
Gotcha.
So can you make it like a double pull, like say a lady for a lady and a guy for a guy in the same game?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And one thing that they do, I can't remember. It's kind of changed over the years. You have to have, I think it's 1 male, 120 or under in the lineup at all times. So it's not a handicap tournament, but that kind of helps to keep teams a little bit even. So you don't have 3 Freddie Troffelmeyers in the lineup.
What if you have 5 random Alberta 5-pinners? What do they consider that?
We would take you, yeah. As long as you got 2 girls on there, you're golden. You're golden. Yeah.
Or we're bringing Daryl along then just to make sure.
There you go.
Okay.
Settle
You
down.
can wear a skirt.
Yikes.
Yeah,
So
no.
we already know you're the 8th person that will never be put into the lineup. So.
Hey, I'm okay. I can handle the drinking part, I hear.
Tim's used to using light balls anyways, right? So it makes sense for him to be there.
As long as you can shotgun Twisted Teas and start drinking it. If you can start drinking at 8 a.m., you're golden.
That's never been a problem.
Yeah.
My old days, I wouldn't have stopped drinking, but my new days, no.
Yeah, I know. Even me, we're getting old. Yeah, we're getting old.
Sorry, so which weekend in November is the snowball?
It's always the week of Remembrance Day.
Oh,
So
The week
if
after.
Remembrance Day is on a Tuesday, it's that week.
It starts on the Monday, sort of thing.
Yeah. The singles
For
is
tournament
Monday.
on Sunday.
Yeah. So hang on. What's
so we just don't play singles. We just play the team.
Is there
Right.
other tournaments for Candlepin 2 that are regional or whatnot? Like, what's the tournament scene look like for Candlepin?
It differs Canada to US. The stuff that US has going on is much different to what we've got going on. All of our tournaments are team. You know, five bowlers on a team, either a men's tournament, a ladies tournament, mixed tournament. It's just how it's one of those. It's how we've always done it, kind of thing. But now, as the tournament organizer, who literally has to spend 100 hours of my life trying to fill teams right now, we're gonna have to rethink some things. We really are. We're going to have to, whether it's we make a few doubles tournaments or we make a few singles tournaments or, make a four-person tournament instead of a 5-person tournament and spread the teams out a little bit, or make more handicap. I hate to take some of these long-standing tournaments and all of a sudden cap them or put handicap on them. But I think we're really going to have to think it through, and we're working on it. It's a work in progress right now.
Yeah.
It's hard too because we've lost a lot of bowling alleys. Like a lot of bowling alleys have shut down. Like right now, I've got to drive an hour to go bowl, just to go league bowl. I've got to drive an hour, and a lot of people were just like, no, I'm not going to drive an hour. I'm done. You know. And it's been hard. It's been that's a whole show right there.
So does it sound like Tim? I saw you in the comments too. There's only one 5-pin center left in Nova Scotia.
Greenwood.
Yeah.
And there's one on the base in New Brunswick, and that's it.
Wow.
And
that's not even right in Halifax, right?
No. Used to be one Stadacona, Shearwater, both in Halifax. Used to be one in Shelburne. St. Bernard.
Most
crazy. Too bad.
Most of them are on bases, and then the one in Halifax, I believe, closed a couple years ago because it was just not safe or something. If I believe.
Yeah, they had to do something with the building, and they just ended up. Yeah.
It was derelict, or that's really too bad. I mean,
it is.
Halifax is what, 400,000 people.
Yeah, and there's no 5-pin.
Yeah, like they should be able to support that, no problem.
Yeah. And they could if there's just one person with the means to start it up, you know.
What's the rent like out there?
Awful. Awful. You can get a cardboard box for about $1,200 a month.
Is that right? So it's expensive to build and to like property isn't.
It's an ongoing concern right now. Land, the market, like people are knocking on your door wondering if you're going to sell your place, and homes are going for $75,000 more than the asking price. So it's
So what's the booming economy then that people are moving in, or is it just what's going on?
It is. I really think Nova Scotia is a pretty hot spot right now where we've got the views and the we're in a weird time. Like, I think the whole world is in a weird time, and it's just there's a lot of people right now coming to Nova Scotia, but there's a lot of places that need, like, people are looking for workers all the time, but it seems like I don't know. It's hard to. It confuses me.
And people can work remotely in a lot of things too. So if you could work anywhere in the country, why wouldn't you move to some place that's beautiful and you can do all these things?
Exactly. Where where I'm at, and it goes the same for 100-kilometer radius. I can drive 15 minutes in one direction and I get to the ocean, and I can drive 45 minutes in the other direction and get to the ocean. And so, It's just you get a little bit of everything, and I can drive an hour and I'm in the city. So, um, it yeah, it's we're in a weird time, and I think if we had one person to say, here's a plot of land, here's some money, build a bowling alley, it would thrive. It really would. I really do, especially in the city. Especially in the city, I think there's enough 5-pin bowlers left, kind of their bowling bags collecting dust in their closet, kind of thing, that they would come back.
Yeah.
A basement
Like,
of
we would
a
only have-
mall or something that's
Yeah.
that's already returning high rates in the many
Yeah.
building or floors above or something in the retail space, but the basement, it could be
Yep.
put in an 8-laner
Yeah.
or something, or a 6-laner, like just something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Jess, there was a tournament out there, I believe, that you played. It was a Candlepin 5-pin center, I think in Halifax. You played X amount of games, Candlepin, X amount of games 5-pin. Was that
Yeah.
out there? Yeah.
That was
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to say that was Halifax Fairlanes in the shopping mall there, and they did a test run for a few years where they took out some of the candlepin lanes, and they put in 5-pin lanes, and it was great. Like it was awesome, and that was one of those things. It was Halifax Shopping Center. It was a perfect place, and then they decided they wanted a food court. Like, and that's what's happened with a lot of our bowling alleys.
Right.
Like the bowling alleys didn't go under. They didn't. The bowling alleys were paying their bills. They were perfectly fine. Were they making millions? No, but they were fine. And
Just the building was worth more for something else.
Yeah. Like my home lanes, it was just gut wrenching because we didn't see it coming, and but yeah, and then 2 years later we lost the lane 30 minutes down the road, and so now in the matter of 2 years lost two home lanes, and now I've got to drive an hour just to go bowl, and that affects when you're a competitive professional bowler and you go from having a bowling alley 5 minutes up the road to having a bowling alley an hour down the road. It affects things.
Yeah, it seems to be the common theme. Like, I know Edmonton's lost a few centers just due to the fact that lease went up because they know they could get the price from something else, right? It wasn't the fact that the bowling alley wasn't paying its lease. Just the leaser knew they could get more money.
Yeah.
So
when a term came
forced
up
them
and
out.
they could say renegotiate, says, listen, it's double the price or whatever it is. That's
it's
happened
horrible.
lots.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a better position now, at least after COVID, where like so many businesses have gone under, though, that I don't think there's so many retail spaces that are sitting vacant right now that I think we're in a better position as a renter than we've ever been in the industry for sure, at least in Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your provincial qualifiers and stuff, like you're still getting lots of bowlers out. Like, are you having trouble getting bowlers out?
So
depending on zone,
for our tournament masters, for example, before COVID, we had 41 people when we were traveling to go to Newfoundland, and this year we had 44. So we were, it was good. It was good that way.
Yeah.
We just had our TPC, which is our major cash tournament. We set record numbers for the most entries. We had 278 entries.
Wow.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So out here, at least, I think things are still trending in a positive direction for some things, anyways.
Competitive wise, I think things are trending up, but recreation wise, I'm not too sure.
No, I think some centers really took a big hit. Some centers just didn't put the effort in coming back, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, we've had that too for sure, and we're still, like, in Nova Scotia, like, we've still got a lot of restrictions on us. I don't know if you guys do or not, but we've still got a lot of restrictions that make it really tough for some bowlers to come out. They have to be double vaccinated. They have to wear a mask. We're allowed to take the mask off on the lanes, and a lot of people are still just scared to be in crowds. They're scared to, and it just sucks. Thankfully,
it sounds like we're the same restriction. It's just double vax or negative test, and then masks, and that's the only restrictions.
But we also live in what they call the Texas of Canada, right? So we had our TPC. We had our TPC, And our doubles on Friday night, we have 64 teams of 2 playing on 16 lanes. So we have 128 people bowling at a single time.
Right.
On 16 lanes, and it is wall to wall people, and we filmed it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
And it's been over 2 weeks, and there's been no COVID
Yeah.
cases since then. So
there was a lot of people there. I was a little bit, get me out of here, but
on the Friday night. On the Friday night.
On the Friday night, I would duck out of the pit and go up to the back. I'm like, there's a lot of people in there.
Up top, there was a lot of people.
Yeah, there was everywhere. Just like, where do I go?
Yeah.
So
it's Berta for everybody else.
Berta. Yeah. No, we've got hope. Like Nick Patterson and I, both of our dads passed away, and we've been best friends since we grew up. So we host a yearly memorial tournament, and we kind of share it. So we call it the Connell Patterson Memorial Tournament. So that's next weekend, and we're sitting full, and nobody seems to be backing out, and so there's still hope, and if all goes well, like that'll be the first full tournament we've had in 2 years. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good to see everybody back, and a lot of times it's mostly they're there because it's sentimental and they know it means a lot, and we're pretty big parts of the community. But I hope if we have one good big tournament, maybe it'll get that bug going again. The good bug, not the COVID bug.
Yeah,
but,
that's right. Hopefully, obviously none of us are experts on this panel about the whole COVID situation and stuff, but the WCBTs ran 2 successful tournaments with no COVID situations, and it's been following provincial mandates and stuff like that, and it's been really fantastic. So I really hope the Manitoba Open is up this coming weekend, or not this weekend, next weekend. And I'm not sure about the whole Winnipeg restrictions. I think it's roughly the same, double vaccination and masks. So their tournament's looking to be really good too. So
I just want to say that I've read a lot of stuff on Facebook. I'm pretty sure I'm an expert.
Oh, good. Right. Yeah.
Emphasis on the pretty sure. Yeah.
You can start your own business and start giving advice to everybody else.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Absolutely.
That's been happening.
Now, Jess, you mentioned your dad and Nick's dad's memorial tournament. Obviously, sorry to hear. Not sure how recent that was, but that's great that you run a tournament. I'm assuming that they were mentors of yours. What other mentors can we touch a base on, or any coaches in both, I guess, 5-pin and candlepin that you've worked with over the years and had a feeling on you?
Yeah. No, there's in 5-pin, Nick and I, the stories that we can tell from Saturday mornings. Charlie Costin, he still keeps tabs on us. He trust your ball. You gotta trust your ball, Jess. And I swear, 7 times in the run of a morning, he'd get me to move one way or the other. And no, let's try a board to the left. No, let's try a board to the right. Let's try. But Charlie, he was an old timer that he had kind of lost a little bit of hope in the youth program. There wasn't a whole lot of kids coming up that showed a lot of interest and a lot of heart and a lot of guts, and then here come a couple candlepin, because Nick bowled candlepin too, and here come a couple candlepinners that are gonna all of a sudden just start showing up every Saturday morning and want to learn and want to listen to his advice. And my God, we used to stay after. I swear we bowl more after youth bowling than we bowl in youth bowling, because we would just ball after ball after ball of just him standing right behind you, and just I will never forget. It was a constant. Just trust your ball, Jess. And the year that I won nationals, he actually wrote me a little card, and it just it was one of those times that. Oh, that one hurt right here, because I see him in town every once in a while, and it's just like you're why I became a good bowler, and Dad for sure. Like Dad was a huge driving force for me, He was crippled, so he stood pretty close to the foul line and just took one step and through. He didn't do 1, 2, 3, but just accurate as can be on the head pin, and he, he was that. He would push you, but a good push you kind of thing, and then like Joanne Blades. I don't know if you guys know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just at a national level, you couldn't get a better coach at a national level. Just the experience and the wisdom, and she never knew what to think of us. She really didn't. She used to get so embarrassed at the banquets. Oh, we were bad. We were so bad. Oh, she would just go to bed and hope we wouldn't get put in jail. That's pretty much.
That's awesome.
And Ed Knoftel. Ed Knoftel was a great 5-pin coach at the national level too. He unfortunately passed away. They both did. It's a sad time, but yeah, there's lots, and there's always people that have helped you along the way. That.
So how did you get into 5-pin? Like you just talked about playing youth challenge and everything else like that, but who?
We literally got asked to put a team in the youth challenge because they needed another team. That's literally how it started. Yeah, it's pretty surreal actually.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, like I don't know about Nate because there was a 5-pin bowling alley right down the road from him. So I want to say he'd bowled a little bit of 5-pin, but not much at all. But yeah, we literally got asked to put a team in the youth challenge, and then we made it and went on the first plane ride. I'd never been on a plane, and that's how it kind of all started. And then the next year joined YBC. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So let's get into a little controversy, a little bit of candlepin controversy. I understand the gutters. This is a big hot topic in the candlepin. It's not something in 5-pin not to our knowledge. So flat gutters and slanted gutters. So I'm guessing that's for the deadwood coming back onto the deck and stuff like that.
Yeah. So flat gutters make it really hard to tell where the gutter starts, where the gutter stops. So you get a lot of judgment calls. Oh no, that wood wasn't in the gutter. I hit it fine. It was clean. It was on the plate. Slanted gutters, it's just, the pin will go up, it'll roll back. It'll go up, it'll roll back. You end up standing there for 5 minutes while the pin rolls back and forth and back and forth. And so yeah, and it really affects pinfall. Which way is right, which way is not, back if you're a sanctioned house, I believe the gutters have to have a certain depth to them and not be slanted, of course. I think. Where's Nick? Nick will know this. I can guarantee you. Nick will know what the ICBA rule is on gutters.
We'll have to get Robert Perella on here too. He'll tell us.
There you go. Yeah. So, but no, the state of the gutters definitely affects pinfall for sure. And then, what's on the pin deck affects pinfall too. A lot of houses now, I don't know whether it's times are changing, they're short-staffed and stuff, but there's nothing on the pin decks. They're bone dry, just bone dry, and it's so frustrating because you throw a good ball and it's just nothing. It's just, and then you can get homes that put so much juice on the pin decks that your fingers are just coated in black oil by the end of the night.
So by juice, do you mean that like the oil they apply to the lane deck, they also put on the pin deck?
Yes. Yeah. So you guys have mostly synthetic lanes.
It's becoming that way, yeah.
Yeah, it's drifted that way for sure.
Yeah, we don't have any synthetic lanes. Ugh, fine. There you go.
So
there you go. I knew.
Yeah.
Is that like it has to be curved by 3/4 of an inch, or does that mean it has to be down 3/4 of an inch from the top of the pin deck?
I would think 3/4 to the bottom of the gutter, right?
And why do you have oil on a pin deck? What purpose would that serve? I mean, the ball splatter, the pin splatter?
The pin's moving less.
It helps the pins move around.
It helps the pins moving around if there's oil on them because they'll just
less friction on the deck. Yeah.
Sure. And if it's a dry deck, then it'll just it's just going to be
there's just no action. Yeah, a dry deck, I might as well punch the. I have to count pins. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks,
Might as well
Nick.
just punch the one pin out.
Yeah.
There you go. Nick knows everything.
See,
He was
that's not
he's
really
such a
deep at
bowling
all.
geek. Nick is the biggest bowling geek, and
really
I love
shallow.
him to death.
But it just stops, like, if a deadwood rolls into the gutter, it just stops it from coming back onto the pin deck, right? It just stays in the gutter. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And flat gutters really make it tough because it's always the bowler's call. And we say that in Candlepin Allied. It's the bowler's call. If I clearly throw it in the gutter, I'll get, like, if it's 100% clear as day, and then I say, oh no, it was a good ball, then people are gonna say, no, Jess, no, it was a really bad ball. You suck. But if it's kind of 50-50, it's always the bowler's call. And flat gutters make that judgment call that much tougher because, like, if you're shooting for the 7 pin, which was a corner pin, if you're shooting for a corner pin, and if the wood's half in the gutter, half out, you can use the half out to play the pin.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're looking a little confused.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, but if it's a flat gutter, what's in and out? It's
Right.
it's just
yeah.
a matter of
That's weird
judgment.
that you even have flat gutters. I mean,
We have, a lot of places do, Daryl. We have flat gutters in the back too.
at what
No,
point,
but
though?
she's saying flat to the top of the pin deck. There's no 3/4 drop.
No. Are you talking about actually gutters that are actually physically flat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
But
still raised
not
to the
all
same
the way
height.
down the lane.
No, for sure. But
Oh,
at the
okay.
pin
Yeah.
deck section,
But at the
there's
pin
the
deck.
section of gutter that is actually flat, not rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And level with the pin deck, right?
And then the other side
Well-
of things is there's places that have slanted gutters. So
But
The-
Carrie, it has to be down 3/4 of an inch.
To be sanctioned.
Yeah.
to be sanctioned. Yeah. And we have no sanctioned bowling alleys,
Right.
which sucks. I don't know if it's the ICBA needs to get with the 21st century. They need to. Yeah. We don't even have foul lights.
ICBA
Yeah.
being
Oh, really?
International Candlepin Bowlers Association. How'd they
Well,
nail it?
yes, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nailed
There you
it.
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Where is that board, or where's that? That's the rules
Down
and-
in, I want to say Massachusetts, somewhere's down there. That
that's
they
the
and they're
governing body
know,
of
yeah.
rules. C5.
we're kind of at a, we're kind of at a setback up here because even to get somebody in, because there's the Candlepin Hall of Fame. I'm sure there's 5-pin Hall of Fame too. To get into the Candlepin Hall of Fame, you need to have records and information and documents and all of our, like my highest score record sheet is on a handwritten score sheet in pencil that there's no legality to it. It's not official by any means, but I know what happened, kind of thing. And so to have any grounds for wanting to be in the Hall of Fame, it's tough for us because a lot of the guys, like the old timers that were just unreal, and they've got championship upon championship upon championship. It's just everything in your mind. It's there. Any of the old score sheets probably would have gone. They're still in the basement of the bowling alley that got sold to Joe Blow, kind of thing. So we're. I don't know. I don't know if ICBA will ever change how they govern, statistics and stuff like that. But I talk so much.
You had mentioned something earlier about some guys had a lot of stuff on the ball. That's a comment here. But what's the difference of having stuff on the ball from Candlepin to 5-pin? Is there there a lot more fingers on it difference, or what are the differences there you can tell us about?
Yeah, like if I'm throwing a good ball, it's got movement on it. It's got some strength to it. It's with 5-pin, all you're focused on is hitting the head pin. That if you hit the head pin, to the side just a little bit, you're gonna average 250. And if you do that regularly, but in Candlepin, if I'm throwing with no stuff on the ball, I'm gonna punch the guts out 6 times out of 10. And when you punch the guts out, chances are you're going to end up with a 7 or 8 box, because then you're going to punch the 2-pin, you're going to punch the 3-pin, and so if you've got no stuff on the ball, there's just no action. There's no movement on the pins, and we rely on that movement. You guys rely on precision and accuracy, and we rely on movement. And the pins, when you're bowling well in Candlepin, the pins literally dance. Like they literally will just dance around. Like when Nate throws a strike, it's like what just happened? It's just boom. So yeah, to have some stuff on the ball in Candlepin and be accurate at the same time, you're one hell of a bowler.
Yeah, I think, in 5-pin, guys, you're definitely guys that throw a lot of fingers, backups, hooks, stuff like that. So, I wouldn't know if it's necessarily no action and no stuff on the ball, but maybe not to the same extent. But definitely fingers are required in 5-pin to make sure that the pins are splattering a bit. If you're throwing it too flat or too thick, then you definitely okay, I didn't finish my shot or didn't get it on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine it's harder to get fingers on a ball that's 2.5 inches, though.
Yeah. I throw with my palm a lot. Like I grip it hardcore right into my palm. And if when I'm struggling, I'm steering it. Like I'm using my fingers and I'm steering it too much. And but when I'm throwing real well, I'm just gripping it right in the palm of my hand and just letting it go.
Yeah, that's kind of something that they always tell you, like when you're learning 5-pin or whatever, you got to have that gap. The ball's got to be sitting on your fingertips, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I'm definitely not a fingertip player. I palm the ball as well in 5-pin. It's just something that I don't know. I find if I get on the fingertips, you feel like you're placing or you're squeezing the ball, and the ball's popping out of your fingers instead of rolling it, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely learned, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And now compare a couple of 5-pinners are more blank, whereas candle pinners are more blank. How would you describe them? A couple of words there.
I bet you're more fun now than you were when we were younger.
Oh
yeah, 100%.
You should come out to one of the cash tournaments.
Yeah, I need to.
It's just a giant party, honestly.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Yeah,
we can be kind of electric. You get us on a national level, get us throwing a good ball, and we can be pretty electric. And you guys are very meticulous. You're very cautious. You're very focused on how your approach is and how your follow through is, and we just go up and throw the ball. we really do. We just go up and
probably a little bit of learning from each other, couldn't we? In this a little bit,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Little freewheel and maybe a little more. Hey, let's focus in on this, right?
Yeah, and it helps. That's where bowling both had, when I was in my quote unquote prime, Candlepin helps with the distractions. Like in Candlepin, there's always distractions. There's always somebody, jumping out in front of you or some hooting and hollering. And so when we get to a national level, we're not so, bothered by the little stuff like that. And then 5-pin really helps to zone in, to focus on your approach, focus on your slide and getting down, getting low. And they definitely complement each other, and it's pretty cool if you can even just a couple times just try to do both and see,
Yeah. That's why I'm not surprised like Freddie excels at both, is that he is super accurate and incredibly accurate and has good rotation all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he is such a fierce competitor. He hates to lose.
Start the car. I mean, that was always whenever he wasn't going to win a tournament, Jess was already outside warming
Oh,
the
yeah.
car, waiting for him to book it out of there.
And that carries over. That carries over to Candlepin. Oh my God! It was before COVID. I think it was my dad's memorial tournament when we had it in the city, and there was an adding error. See, we don't have automatic scoring. It's pencil and paper. It's so there was an adding. We were bowling them. There was an adding error that we thought that they won by. We thought they won by one. We ended up winning by one. And him and I sat at that score table, and we must have counted it 4 times. We had to have counted it 4 times. And it's like, I'm sorry, Freddie.
Yeah. I wouldn't feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah.
No, he's a great guy, and if he's watching, I've got a spot for him on my mixed worlds team again this year. So we've been we went before COVID, and we were supposed to go the following year, and then COVID kind of shut us down. So, Freddie, if you're watching, looks like it's going to be at Academy Lanes, and we'll go down and have some fun. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think we're getting close to that 2-hour mark. It's getting late for you,
Bedtime.
Jess. So we're going to let you go, but we can't thank you enough for coming on here and informing us on Candlepin. I know we had Freddie and Bobby on here before, but you have way more information, and you're a lot better to talk to.
Oh,
so.
you were so much better. So much better.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now bowling's been my passion since I was 3 years old, so it's got a good place in my heart. So it's nice to meet you guys, and I would love to see if there's a spot for you guys at the Worlds.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, our TPC is always the weekend before Remembrance Day, so it'll end the Sunday, the day before your
The
tournament
day before,
starts.
yeah, and the singles isn't it's not required. So if you showed up on Monday night just ready in time for the tournament on Tuesday, you'd be golden.
This sounds
Yeah.
doable.
Look at it!
Yeah.
I can see the wheels turning.
We always say, like, after TPC, we need to chill out. We need a break, especially from being out of our bowling alley. So I would sleep on like a baby on a plane to get there. That sounds
Love it.
Yeah, you
Love
would
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, awesome. Well, we'll let you go, Jess, and you have a great night, and thank you
You
for
too.
coming on again.
You're most
Thanks,
welcome.
Jess.
Thanks,
so
guys.
much, Jess. That was
Thanks,
awesome.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
See
right
ya.
on.
That was awesome. Very informative, for sure. That was fantastic. Some of her stories were pretty cool. And being a part of 5-pin and Candlepin, that's amazing. And having
absolutely.
success in both, too, right?
And we got to bash Freddie and Bobby. So, I mean, that's
That's right.
ultimately a great podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes our day.
I've heard a lot about her. First time actually meeting her, I heard a lot about her through Freddie and Bobby, and obviously really well spoken, and she does a hell of a lot supporting the Candlepin community, and she has a little bit of knowledge with the 5-pin, so it was great to having her on.
So it's funny, she was talking that she's been on the Candlepin podcast. I wonder if we can gather 5-pins, mail them out to those guys, maybe a couple bowling balls, because I don't know if they have a 5-pin center near them, because she was saying 2 of them are from the States, right? And then they can set them up, hopefully, because they're free fall, obviously. And then we do, like Daryl said, we do a little live stream competition against each other, and I like it.
We need a little box, a little shipment that can send down to them. Sure, let's organize something.
Let's figure something out. We'll try and get in contact with them. We'll have to contact Jess and see if we can get their.
She said the name.
Ripping the Rack podcast. It looks like they're through 79 episodes. They've been around.
Nice.
They're established for a little while. Yeah.
Same ideas, interviewing and going through and chatting with people about tournaments and people like that. Same kind of idea.
Yeah, it doesn't. It lists the episodes, but it doesn't really list what's in them. They're all have the same description, so hard to say. Yeah, but
it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool to talk a lot about Candlepin today, guys. Like, I mean, obviously, I've known about Candlepin, but never really talked a lot about it. But it just blows my mind that you just grip it and rip it, like get out there and hammer it. For a 120 average. I'd probably definitely be angry with myself, but as she says, you just got to be okay with it, and that's the way it is. So just be fine with it and enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
So,
we'll have a day where we'll set them up. And we'll shoot some. Maybe stick around after a Thursday night and set them up and go from there or something. But
Yeah, or a Sunday night even after a match while guys are doing their thing. You could do them on another lane or something.
Yeah,
We could rip
Thursday's
the rack.
probably better.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
All right. Well,
Fun.
before we sign off here, we got a little all-star giveaway for the people that were tuning in. Thanks again to All-Star Bowling and Shelby and his crew. So we got 20 entries. Let's run the draw. Oh, look at Bobby Kites all over that.
He was in early, yep.
Yeah, I texted him. He wanted me to text him and tell him it was on.
I'll pick
Cat.
That's perfect. Maybe he'll get some balls that have some strikes left in them.
You need some after that pro team.
Yeah. Hey, Al won his first match, didn't he?
He did.
I think so, yeah.
He did, yeah.
For sure. So, like we said, obviously coming up this Sunday at 9 in the morning Mountain Standard Time, we have another pro team live competition. Heartland Kingpins, Regina Infinite Escapes, Paradise Marvel, Dream Crushers. I think that's everybody, all 5 teams.
14.
So tune in, pay attention. We got some of our best commentators on staff for this one. So
Absolutely, we do. Damn straight. DB and Mark.
Yeah,
Love
DB
it.
and Johnny, the old wingmen together. So
That's right.
back again. Yeah, there might be a lot of BPG commercials and talking about sublimated shirts and a lot of that stuff in this next 3 hours on Sunday. So yeah. It'll be very
Perfect.
heavy.
all right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see you all, talk to you all, and see you next week.
See you
good week.
later.
Thanks, everybody.